Hello, Prince. How are you? Hello, Gary. Don't feel lost. There's so many of us will find you. Salume. Hello, dear. How are you? Remember, guys, let me know where you guys are tuning in, so I have a kind of an idea which part of the world I'm talking to. Don. Hello, dear. Let me just get situated with this. There we go. I think it's doing it now. Pierina. Hello, dear. Now, remember, guys, let me know where you guys are tuning in. So I want to picture you where in geographically where you are. Adam, good to see you, dear. Sweden, Gary. Okay, good. Sweden. And your girlfriend is watching from here too. Okay, good, good, good. And Rosita, Spain, ¿cómo estáis? Hola, I guess. The only thing, I guess one of the things that I don't know is to say hello in Swedish. Ciao from Croatia. All right. Romania. Raul, hello, dear. Pierina. Italte. Italte, is that supposed to be Italy? Or is it a different Italtel? Pierina. Is it Italy? If it is Italy, buongiorno or buonasera. Joey. The Netherlands. Excellent. Gary. Salume, I'm from Georgia. Do you know this country? Of course, it's close. It's between Iran and Russia. It's close to Iran and close to Russia. If that's the Georgia. But there's another Georgia, United States. But I think... Marwa Spawi from Tunisia. Hello, dear. I guess maybe Tunisia you can understand. Ahlan wa sahlan. Am I right? Or salam. I hope you guys have your cup of tea or whatever else you like in front of you. Johanna. You say hey. Hey like H-E-J, hedge or hey in Swedish. Hello. Am I saying it right? Hey or hoy? I wish I knew more languages. There are a few languages that I speak a little bit, but it's wonderful to know more languages. Abby, hello Abby. Gutierrez, that must be Spain or Mexico. Sabrina, hello dear. It's wonderful on Sundays when I see you guys all here. It's like a big family that we are gathering around the world for a jamboree, for a picnic, and take care of each other and share and explore. Okay, if you have your coffee or tea in front of you, and Rosita says Happy Nowruz. Hello Rosita, Happy Nowruz to you too, dear. As you all know, there was a Persian New Year going back to 3,000 years old, that every spring, beginning of spring, exact same specific time when the earth makes complete revolution around the sun, and each year is different time, could be middle of the night or early morning or whenever. That is when Persians from thousands of years ago been celebrating the start of a new spring. And this new year is not a religious new year. It has no connection to any religion, but it has to do with the tradition of a country which is as old as 7,000 years or so. In other words, possibly oldest country in the world. And this tradition has been going on for so long. It's a good celebration. Lots of flowers, lots of food, lots of greetings, lots of good feelings, gifts passing by and so on, and young to go and visit the old and so on and so forth. So Happy Nowruz to all of you. And just like the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, on the 13th day of the new year, there is again same thing. The Persians usually cook something and go outside of the home to take the number 13, the bad luck, out of their home and spend it outside. And that is similar also to April Fools. They kind of make up things and so on. And the young girls traditionally would tie up 2 strings of grass, meaning that they would like to find a husband that year. or tie the knots. That's where the tie the knot comes from. Jar Jar from Naboo. Okay. All right. So, if you guys are having had enough chat with me to say hello, then you can shoot me a question about thoughts, consciousness, fears, desire, ego, and how it relates with each other in relation to your lives and day-to-day negotiation of life, and your relationships and breakups, what you're going through after breakups, what's the trend of your thoughts, what are the interactions of your fears, desires, ego, and thoughts in relation to your consciousness. And so we can explore that and see if we can help each other out in that way. Albania. Lear from Albania. Hello, dear. So, now I'm glad to see that this new hour, 11 o'clock instead of 10:30, seems to be working a little bit better, I guess, for you guys. It certainly does for me, as I usually am up late researching something or doing something, and so it would help me out to have a little bit more sleep in the morning. Yesterday, I actually, which I have a live talk on my own Facebook page. Remember, guys, my Facebook page address, I believe, is up there, which you can go to my own Facebook page, which I have a live talk on Saturday mornings. It'll be the same time, 11 o'clock. Sometimes at 10:30 or 11. And you can see all the posts there, and make sure to visit my YouTube channel. Again, the YouTube channel, I guess, is also up there on the link. And you'll have over 400 different videos on the subject of thought, consciousness, fear, desire, and ego, and its relationship with breakups and so on. And on the breakup subject, you get 400 videos, which would help you out for moving on after your breakup. And you can also go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and check it out and read sample chapters of the books that I've written. And also there is a seminar that I did in one of the local universities about the end of fear, which is now available for free on YouTube. I've opened it up. It was for purchase before. And also you can choose any package that you like if you need to talk to me one-on-one, and that will be through the Skype consultation that I do around the world with people every day. So you have lots of support, and do share my videos, the videos that you like or the things that you like about the Facebook pages, so people will know there's support out there, and that way also promotes the work that I do. Now, having said all that, yesterday I simply wanted to sleep, and I didn't have the live talk because the night before I was up for quite a bit hours, and I said, well, maybe one day would make a difference. So, but do please go on my Facebook page. The link is up there, Mind That Seeks Truth, author and books, either one, both are mine. And like the page so I can be in touch with you, because sometimes it is possible maybe eventually this page would have different agendas, and right now we've been on this live talk on this Facebook page for over 9 months. Gracious arrangement of Witty Feed, who facilitated this for us to explore and share information, and I'm grateful to the Witty Feed people. A very gentle company, very advanced company, and wonderful people who run it, and I thank them for this opportunity. But do go on my Facebook page and like it, so in case there would be other events, you will always see the posts there. Having said that, now I'm open for your questions at your convenience. Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, now, Stacy, we have a question. Stacy says, do you believe in life after death? Robert says, what's your thoughts on the population explosion we are having? And Narhem says hello from Egypt, and he or she, I'm not sure the name would represent, I'm not familiar with that, but he or she says, what's the difference of thought, knowledge, insight, and wisdom? And then we have Taylor from Washington States. Washington States, not DC, right close to me, Vancouver. You know, I went to Seattle U for a few months, a while long ago, before I went to Portland for university. So Seattle has a special meaning for me as well. Taylor says, my girlfriend cheated on me and it's tearing me apart. We are trying to work on it and fix our relationship. I feel as if she is my soulmate. What do I do about moving? What do I do about moving forward and having peace of mind and peace of heart? Please respond. I could use the help and advice. This is not a simple question to discuss it in one shot, but I can just touch on it, and then we go to the other questions. You know, unfortunately, we seem to be looking at life one-dimensionally. Everybody believes what they see, what they touch. They think what they are, what life is all about physical connections. Yet we all know that this physical connection is actually one of the main reasons, that is one of the shortcomings that why relationships don't work, because they only rely on the physical connections, and anything physical in this world has a limited duration. It cannot attract you forever if it's only based on physical, because the physical attraction is only good enough for that initial attraction, which invites you to get to know each other on a consciousness level. And if the consciousness level has not had the opportunity to get to know each other and bond and come up with coordinated and harmonized order in life by understanding each other's consciousness, then it will not work, because that physical attraction will run off. As the beginning of physical attraction is a joy. When you see someone that you really like, it's amazing feeling, and then the thought comes into the picture and says, oh, I like this girl, or if you're a girl, I like this boy, or whatever. You say, I like this girl and I want to have more of it. First when you meet her, you're excited, physically attracted, and it's joyful, you're happy, and then the thought comes to the picture, says, I want more of her. I want it to be all the time. I want it to be permanent. So the joy, which is a temporary situation, you try to turn it into permanent. So impermanent turning into permanent, which then it's not a joy anymore. You turn it into pleasure. Once you turn a joy into pleasure, then it's a gateway to boredom. It's like, as I mentioned in one of my videos, it's like you see a butterfly flying and it's very happy, you get happy, elated because of all the energy and beauty of this butterfly. Then the thought comes, I want to have more of this feeling that I just got by owning that butterfly. So you grab the butterfly, you put it in a net. Now the butterfly is not flying anymore. You turn the joy of seeing the butterfly fly into pleasure of having it. And now by having it, it becomes something that you no longer consider it joy, because you possess it. Now it's no longer that butterfly in its own domain in doing what it does. It no longer has that energy to extend, and you have turned that momentary energy and beauty of joy into pleasure by wanting to own it and having it. And now no longer you crave for it that much, and at the same time you want other pleasures, because human being wants pleasure, but not this pleasure because you already have it. So no longer it's going to be satisfying you with that feeling, elation, feeling of joy. So if you don't get to know each other's consciousness, the pleasure that you receive from each other's physical attraction and connection, which began by being joy, turns into pleasure. And when it turns into pleasure and it's only physical, then it becomes boredom, because through the time that you guys had the chance to use the time of the attraction, physical attraction, and get to know each other on consciousness level, you guys didn't. And you think by going to another pleasure, because then your joy became a pleasure by being together and not focusing on getting to know each other on consciousness level and making a deeper relationship, then it just became a physical pleasure, and that became a boredom, and then she or you want to go with another physical relationship for pleasure, because you think you're bored here, therefore there's something wrong with the person. So you may have to find another person through a physical relationship, thinking that the physical relationship is what life is all about and where your happiness resides. Therefore you jump from one pleasure to another when it becomes bored, and you think that's how you can actually feel better and feel more, because we are all conditioned to be more, and thinking by having a girlfriend and having maybe more girlfriends, you're more. So when you can't make it work with this girlfriend or with this boyfriend, you turn on to somebody else because you think that's how you can be more. All of these are just physical way of living. And physical way of living is always limited and never is going to be as deep and exciting as you want it to be when your relationship is based on building something together. A good foundation needed for building something together. And that foundation is by understanding each other's consciousness. Each one of us in the consciousness level are put together differently. When you are born, you get to see your parents, how they deal with you, the society, the aunties and the teachers and the communities and the religious background and the customs and tribal traditions and so on. The things you read, the things you see, the videos, the movies, the newspapers, the books, places you go, people you meet, all of that and the experiences and knowledge you gather in your consciousness is the content of your consciousness, which forms your consciousness. And each person's consciousness is different. That's why when you get together, you have a different norm and different order in life according to the knowledge and experiences and information you have in your consciousness, and the other person has a different order. And when you get together, these orders need to understand each other. That takes time. But if you only rely on your physical attraction and neglect getting to know about how the order of this other person, the consciousness of the other person is, then you will not have anything to keep this relationship together, because after a while that physical attraction which was joy has turned into pleasure, and that becomes boredom. Then you jump to go to another pleasure, and that's why you think you're doing the right thing and there's something wrong with your relationship. Of course, if you tried to get to know each other on consciousness level and it didn't work, well, okay, that's the time to separate and move on. But if you haven't, but you think by changing the girlfriend or the boyfriend, have another sexual or intimacy with somebody else, that will make you feel like you've arrived to happiness or accomplished something, well, that's never worked. And you'll be going from this branch to another, this physical intimacy with the other one and the other one, the other one, thinking that's where the happiness resides, and that will show you if that's the right choice or not. The physical intimacy and attraction and pleasure is never a solid foundation to tell you if that person is the right person for you or not. There's a lot more to it. So I hope that is something that you can think about, and it's a long subject, lots into it. I just made it short for our conversation here. So Taylor, I hope that's something for you to start thinking or realizing and sharing it with your girlfriend on that note. So in other words, it's not necessarily there's anything wrong with you, it's just her misconception of what is out there to make her feel more, and if the physical attraction or physical connection would make her feel that she's achieved something, which I'm sure she now knows she didn't achieve anything, and there was nothing magical there but just another piece of pleasure. And on the basis of pleasure, on the foundation of pleasure, nobody can build a good life. Nobody. Nothing can be built just because it's pleasurable. There's a lot more in a relationship than that sort of thing. So I hope this is something for you guys to discuss and base a discussion on it. So Johnny from Cyprus, but from Iran. Hello, good to see you. Happy Nowruz. Now, we had few other questions. It was Nerhem saying, what the difference of thought, knowledge, and insight? You really want to put me to work today, aren't you? Just let me wake up. For that, I need a little bit of a almond milk. All right. To understand this, what you said, thought and knowledge and wisdom, we need to go back maybe 40, 50,000 years. Or maybe more, I don't know. First, we have to understand how thought is born. What is thought? What is this business of thinking? Just imagine the caveman, just when he was about to find out, or just about he developed into ability to distinguish things more than the instinct. And let's say we are in that time of the history. I don't know how many thousand years ago, whatever it is. So the caveman comes out the cave for the first time, let's say, and is walking. And he puts his foot on a certain part of the earth, maybe a rock underneath his feet, or some kind of a slope, or maybe it was wet and slippery mud. Somehow he stumbles and falls, and he feels kind of, hurt on his knee or on his ankle. From that experience, he gets from that action that happened, the falling, he learns a certain experience. From that experience, he gains a certain knowledge that if I put my foot this way and it was wet here and at that angle, then I lost balance and I fell and then this hurt and all that. Just play along. I'm trying to deliver something. It could be in different ways, but or picked up the apple and took a bite and the whole hell broke loose. That's an action, apple, an experience from eating that, and the consequences, the knowledge. So all that became part of his content of his consciousness, became a memory, because action happened, the falling or the apple, experience of the falling or having the apple, and then from that a knowledge. The experience became knowledge, and the knowledge was recorded in his memory, became part of the consciousness. And other things happened in the same way, accumulated more knowledge, which became stored in the memory. And eventually that memory has more and more stuff in it, which creates the field of the known, a field of the consciousness, the content of the consciousness, and puts together the memory, the consciousness. We call it field of the known. Known is the experiences, knowledge that you're aware of it. It's known to you. So the field of the known. Now, from these memory and experiences that is now knowledge in your memory, from this field, a thought is born according to what was gathered in that memory. From that thought, which is based on the memory that you had in your consciousness, a new action takes place. From that action, a new experience. From that experience, a new knowledge. And that knowledge is gained back and recorded into your memory. And again, that accumulation from that thought is born. Always your thought, in this way, not transient thought, is born from the field of the known, from the content of your consciousness. So the thought from the content of your consciousness leads to action. Action gives you an experience. Experience turns into knowledge. Knowledge is recorded to memory. From the memory, field of the known, another thought is born. So this is how thought is born. This is what thought is. And of course, a lot more explanation about it, but for our conversation right now, this is enough. And this is the thought and then the knowledge. You understand now where the thought is born, action, experience, knowledge. That's between knowledge. And then the insight is based on this accumulated information you have in your consciousness. You come up with things that you have experienced before, and that experience gives you a certain kind of an awareness of what to expect or what possibilities could be, like a chess game that you learn certain openings, and then having played that game thousands of times, then you have a certain expectations of this move could lead and end up with that ending or that trouble or that possibilities. That's pretty much insight that you have without really having had the game advance to see what it comes. But from the experience and from the knowledge that you have in the game, you can tell where this move is going to lead to. That's one way of explaining insight. And the wisdom, of course, is the accumulation of all these understanding that how to make decisions and judge based on the information and the experiences and the thoughts and the knowledge. All of it together gives you that wisdom. Very simple way of explaining it all, but I think in the time that we have, that should do for now. Now, Stacy asked, do you believe in life after death? Well, in one of my books, Me, My Psyche and I, which is available through Indigo in Canada, or what is that big company that sells books? Amazon. And also on my own site, mindthatseekstruth.com. You can read a sample chapter of Me, My Psyche and I don't know which chapter it is, but I have a big chapter on this particular question. And I try to minimize it a little bit here for you, but for more information, then sorry, you got to go on find that copy, and you can maybe in your library, maybe that's available. I don't know. Well, in order to discuss the question of do you believe life after death, let's explore somehow where do we come from. So when maybe that helps us to see if there is another place after we are not here no longer. Short of the long is that if we are not here and we appear to be here, that means we came from somewhere. So if we came from somewhere, obviously we should be able to go back to wherever it is. So it should be two-way. So that's an easy way of saying. But let's explore it a little bit. Let's understand what we are. Are we a physical entity? Because if you're a physical entity, there's always a limited duration for anything physical. A horse has a limited physical life, right? But is it just a physical entity that we are in connection? If it was physical entity, then everything would just die and never come back. Even the trees, when they go through a certain cycle and the leaves fall off, we don't see them, no blooming of the flowers or blossoms or no fruits or anything on it. And we think it's dead, but it then sprouts again next year. So, is what we are interacting in life, trees, animals, ourselves, is it just what we see, or is there another part to them? Well, the way I see it, we are made out of two things: physical body and the mind, the energy. So our entity is made out of mind and the body. Body having a physical appearance, a physical presence. Mind doesn't have a physical presence, but it's there, which is actually the most important part of making this body function. Without the mind, the body doesn't do anything. So obviously, we are not just a physical entity. If we were, I would submit that when we don't work anymore, when we die, we perish. There's nothing else to us. But since we are alive, and then there's something called mind that actually makes the body work, but we don't see it, therefore, if we can't see it while we're alive, why do we believe that it doesn't exist when we die? Because we couldn't see it, but yet we accepted it that it is why our body works. Then why is it that when our body doesn't work, we also think the mind is dead? How could that be? Because we couldn't see it when our body was working anyhow. We had no evidence to believe that it is part of the body, and we understood that it's not part of the body. So if it's not part of the body, then it cannot be dying when the body dies, because it has a different characteristics. And for the same reason, if you realize when you get up in the morning, you're vigorous and full of energy. But through your daily life, negotiating your daily life and doing things, you get exhausted. Or even if you don't do anything, sit on the couch and have potato chips and watch a movie, In the afternoon, at the end of the day, you feel exhausted because something has been facilitating your livelihood, your existence, your life while you were sitting on the couch or while you were doing things. That's called energy. In Japanese, it's called it ki, K-I. Chinese call it chi. So that ki that has been used to facilitate your body to sit on the couch or do your things is now not as much as it was in the morning when you felt all vigorous, I can take on the world. So what happened? What was it that you used, and where did it go? And how do I get it back? Well, if you notice, when you sleep, suddenly you fill up. You get up in the morning and your battery is charged up. So when you sleep, your mind enters into certain frequency that accepts the charges, the key of the universe, and you're filled up and charged up vigorous in the morning again. And then you go about your business and again you deplete. And then it's like a battery of a car. The car being our body, the tank or the toy being our body, and the battery being our mind. So battery gets charged up. You put it in the toy, and the toy moves and works and so on. And then it depletes, and then you charge the battery again. Then you put it in the toy again, and it works. Same thing. We sleep, we charge up. We get up, we work. We deplete, we sleep, we charge up. Accept the key, the energy of the universe, and then we get up in the morning and we work. But there is a time eventually that battery, when you charge it up, doesn't accept charge anymore. It's too old. It's too many times it's been done, and it doesn't accept it. Therefore, the battery cannot accept the charge. But the charge itself is in existence still, because it used to come from somewhere to charge a battery. It's only the battery that it cannot accept the charge anymore. But the charge hasn't happened anything to it. So when you sleep, you may not be able to accept the charge as good as before, but it's because the ability of you accepting the charge, the key, the energy, the life energy, is gone towards the end of it. But the charge and the key, the energy of the universe, is still out there, still where it came from, still coming to you. You just can't get it and absorb it and hold it anymore, like the battery of the car. So, if we accept that analogy, then when we die, our physical ability dies, but the charges that were coming to us while we were alive cannot die. Still in the universe as it was coming, so it's still there. And whatever we learned and experienced in life, as wisdom, as knowledge, and so on, experiences, is communicated, in my opinion, with the collective consciousness of the universe. That's how universe becomes wiser, is through every one of us, each one of us. How we experience life, how we learn, what knowledge we gather, what experience we go through. These are all individually, every one of us, adding to the wisdom, collective wisdom of the universe. That's how the universe has a chance to experience things and learn how to make itself better for the next generation, so on and so forth. That's a way of thinking. So, where does that energy that always kept coming to us goes when we die? Well, what can it go? Outside the universe? The energy doesn't die. We just proved that in a way. So if it doesn't die, where does it go? Well, it goes where it is. It doesn't go in the ground, because that's not where the energy goes. If you think of yourself as an entity that mind and body, energy and physical, well, the energy is not harnessed. It is free. That's why you feel your loved ones across the world. You can somehow feel them, and there are feelings that you can't explain, but physically you have no way of reaching the other side of the world, but mentally you can, because everything is made out of energy, and all these energies are connected with each other. Just like a drop of the ocean, that you take it out, it looks like it's a drop of the ocean, but it's part of the ocean. Look, if you go in front of the ocean and scoop a bit of water out, and you say, my water. In your eyes, it's your water. But in the eyes of the great universe, is part of the great, in the eyes of the great ocean, is part of the great ocean's water. It just happens to be in your hand. Now, same thing, we have encased, we've brought a little bit of an energy of life encased in our body, and we say, my life. In my eyes is my life. That's what makes me tick. That's what makes me function. But in the eyes of the great nature is part of the nature's life in me. Just like that water out of the ocean, if I keep the water out too long, it will spoil. And if I want it to be fresh and I need to put it back in the ocean to have it conflux with the rest of the ocean water to be fresh and have an interchange. Same thing with me. If I don't learn how to let this energy that I've encased in my body as part of the universal life and call it my life, if I don't let this energy have conflux and interchange with the energy of the universe, it will be cooped up and I easily get sick, cold, this and that, so forth. So we got to learn how to exchange this energy. This is when we sleep. The energy changes and fills up new, fresh. Like when you cook in the kitchen and there's lots of smoke and you open the window, let the smoke out and fresh air come in. We also need to learn how to do this while we're awake. That is done by the way of meditation. That we encourage the exchange and interchange of the life in us and the life of the nature. And just like that water of the ocean, we put it back, let it have conflux and interchange. So we'll be fresh and energized. That's why we do exercise to bring more energy into ourselves, so on. So if you understand that we are made out of mind and body, not just the body, then you understand that if your body dies, your part of the vehicle of the mind has died. The vehicle that makes the mind go here and there has died. But the mind itself, which is part of the energy of the universe that was encased in our body, it doesn't die. It's part in us. So we, in fact, in a way, we're always alive, only in different shape, because we also were in a different shape when we came to this earth, to this life, to experience this life in this physical form. I don't believe that everything that we are is just a physical form. There must be more to us that makes this physical form work. You know, laymen say tongue tastes and legs walk. But in fact, mind, the energy, tastes food through tongue and walks through manipulation of legs. So it is really our mind that lives. It is really the energy that lives, and the energy is abundance, is part of the great universal energy, great nature. So it is not the energy we have is not the whole life, it's part of the bigger energy, and so it always belongs to the universe and goes back. And therefore, I don't believe that we actually die in the sense that we think our body dies and still will live on in different way. How? I don't know. That's the extent of my knowledge for now. So I hope that was something for you to think about and another angle to look at things. Now, Robert says, what is your thoughts on the population explosion we're having? What thought can we have? The more the better. Nothing wrong with that. The rest of it is not. It's the right of every energy that wants to experience this life in the form of physical being, and let's help each other to have a good experience in this short journey of life. So, Nerhem, thank you very much for sharing my video, dear. I appreciate it. Taylor says, could you repeat your website information or book info? Taylor, website is mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. If you go on my Facebook page, again, same name, but the link is up there on this here for this live talk. The link is up there. My own Facebook page. There should be information on the site that you can click on. If not, then I just mentioned it. And the books are on my site, also Amazon, and indigo in Canada. But you can better to go to my site. I think it's the way that most people have done. And it's in the form of paper and ebook. You can buy the ebook, it's cheaper. And if you wanted the paper one, then that goes eventually finds its way through me, and then I will sign it for you and send it so on. But that's ebook is faster and cheaper. So let's see. You're welcome, Taylor. My pleasure. Johanna says, how can you find love when your heart's been broken many times? Often in life, we don't find what we're looking for, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. A man was walking on the beach, finds a bucket full of oyster. 100 oysters he counts. Opens one in the hope of finding pearl. And there was no pearl, he throws it out. Second one, throws it out. Third one, nothing, throws it out. Fourth, fifth, sixth, for a few hours he sits down and opening the oyster is not easy. Trying to do that, eventually gets to about 97, 98, says the hell with it, throws the bucket away and gives up. The next person walks in and says, oh, there's a couple of oysters in that bucket. Takes one, opens up, there's a big pearl this big. So just because you couldn't find a pearl in 98, 99 oysters doesn't mean oysters, and we know oyster exists. We know oyster has pearls. We know that. So just because you couldn't find it in so many different tries doesn't mean that the whole idea of oyster having a pearl is gone and is non-existent. So giving up on things, precious things in life is not wisdom, is giving up. And giving up is not wise. So continue. You will find the oyster that has the pearl you're looking for. And the oysters that didn't have pearl do not represent the oysters that do have a pearl in it. So if you've had been broken-hearted by so many people, it means they were not your type, didn't match, and wasn't on the consciousness level. You couldn't bond. It wasn't in harmony. So just like going to stores to find the clothes, you go to one store, they don't have your design, they don't have your size. What does that mean? That means you should stop wearing anything, or you can't find any store that would have. You got to go to the next store, next store, next store. Eventually, you will find it. So giving up is out of the question. You can be brokenhearted because the wrong size of the clothes you wear, and you eventually have to take it out, no matter how good you try. Oh, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to, get bigger, so eventually it will fit. No, it's a wrong fit to begin with. So be patient and search well and find the right one, and it will last longer. And if you're brokenhearted, so be it. Heart doesn't give up that easily. Otherwise, there's so many things in life that goes wrong, and we still endure. Same thing. We have the same abilities in the cases of relationships. If it didn't work, we can go on. We will forget, and we'll go on to the next things. So many things in life happened that wasn't that good, and you forgot, and you went on, and you found better situations, and you grew out of it. Just like anything, sometimes things that don't work causes us to become stronger and better and wiser and expand and become, more in tune in life and how life works, and more capable in dealing with things. Just like the example of the, lobster. When the lobster is a mushy thing in a hard shell, and eventually this hard shell doesn't expand, but the mushy thing inside does. But when it reaches the size of the shell, it can't expand anymore. It's under a stress. It's like brokenhearted. It says, what do? I can't get any bigger. But the stress itself, the occasion of your relationship broken up, gives you the power, the understanding, the wisdom, the experience to know how to expand further in your abilities to deal with things. So the oyster finds a safe place under the rock in the ocean or wherever and goes is safe from the predators, and then sheds that shell and then puts a new one because the mushy part inside is now bigger, and that's how it expands. So every time there's this stress and there's pressures, difficulty in life, that's the chance and opportunity for us to expand, because under stress we learn how our powers are, and that's the experience you go through. And breakup is one of those experiences that gives you that toughness and roughness and makes you wiser and how to deal with things better in life, become more resilient. So don't forget that. You'll find it. No big deal. Adrian says, how should we react to bad things that happen? Just as I mentioned, the lobster story. In some ways, but the other things, we just have to realize there's no chance. How can we do? And something is so terrible, we somehow got to deal with it because we want to protect our life. And giving up is out of the question. Because when you give up, then there's nothing to protect, nothing to want, nothing to desire, nothing to hope for, nothing to go for. And everything about life is something that you want to build, to hope for, go forward, build, and so on. So so Johanna, I hope that was helpful. Yahima. Thank you. Good to see you too. Mim Zhao, hi there. Heidi, hello, hi. Amy from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Oh, hello, Amy. Okay, let's see if I can find more questions here. What time do we have, guys? I don't want to run over. If anybody, Prince, you're again in my area. What's the time you have? Anka, wie geht's heute dir? Good morning or good Abend, I guess. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. All right. So we come to the end of our discussion today. Again, I hope that we had a little fun together and exchange information or share some information. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Please do go on my YouTube and like one of the videos or enjoy over 400 videos that I have there on the subjects that we talked about: relationships, mind, thoughts, ego, desire, and fears. And do check my site and enjoy what's in there and explore. And if you needed to talk to me one-on-one, on Skype is always available. Go to my site, click on the talk to me for consultation button, and they'll give you the options that you can choose according to what your need is. And we can do that as I do that with all over the world every day. And also do go on my Facebook page and like it so we can be in touch on events and things that might happen. And again, thank you very much for being here and allowing me to share these few words with you. We look forward to next week on Saturday or Sunday. You will go on my Facebook page and you'll see the post there. And be good to yourself and to the others. Have a wonderful week. Love you all. And thanks again, and talk soon. Bye for now.